Hey folks, it's your buddy Mike Messier, Mike's Instant Movie Review. Origin, this was a preview. AMC Theaters, in case you have one in your neighborhood. I believe the cost for a ticket tonight was $5, but I'm also an AMC A-list subscriber, meaning I have the subscription plan, 24 or $25 a month. I can see 3 movies a week, which equates to 12 or 13 movies a month for the cost of $25. So if you happen to have an AMC theater in your town, I would suggest it. You might be saying, well, gee whiz, Mike, I don't go to the movies that often. Well, idiot, if you bought the fucking subscription plan, you probably would, wouldn't you? I mean, I have this debate with people, and it just gets frustrating. I try to save people money. They don't want to save money. Anyway, let's talk about this goddamn movie, Origin, based on the best-selling book, if I'm remembering the title correctly, Cast, The Origins of Our Discontent. Apparently this book, I believe it was published, it came out in 2020, around the time that Biden and Trump were going at it. And, I have not heard of this book before. I have seen the preview for this movie once or twice. This is an epic movie. Similarly, about 5 or 6 weeks ago, I saw another preview, the same type of preview thing at AMC, which was American Fiction. And this also is basically a book come to life in the form of a film, like a book. You kind of, in this one, and I did do a review on American Fiction, you can watch that. In this movie, Origin, we're kind of, on in the ride, so to speak, with the author as she is writing her book. And the trigger, so to speak, was the Trayvon Martin case, which is going back about 10 years at this point. And now, in full disclosure, I got into the theater a few minutes late. Typically, there's a 20-minute buffer with AMC movies, meaning you have 20 minutes of previews, Nicole Kidman walking in the rain puddle, and other assorted artifacts of commercials and stuff before the movie starts. But with this one, it seemed like it started, I don't know if I missed 10 minutes or 5 minutes or just a minute. I got in there a little bit late because I actually saw another movie before this one, Night Swim, which I'll do a review on next. So I get into the theater, and basically we see an actor portraying Trayvon Martin. Now, here's my thing, and this is another tangent for another day, but maybe it'll make it right now. Just about a week or two ago, I watched some YouTube videos. Some guy did a whole documentary, like a 1-hour YouTube video doc about the Trayvon Martin case. He actually interviewed the guy George that was on the other side of that gunshot. I don't know if you want to call him the other person involved. Let's just say that, because to me, that documentary would give a totally different illustration of that case than this narrative film. And this narrative film is not trying to recreate that situation. I think with the Trayvon Martin case, a lot of cases, tons of cases, every case really. I mean, there's at least 3 sides of the story: your side, my side, and the truth. And if you have other people involved, there might be multiple sides. And the objective truth is always, not always, but often lost. And I think about things like people that are incarcerated when they haven't done any crime. And I'm thinking, why isn't there penalties, legal penalties, imprisonment for lawyers, prosecutors, law officials who purposely railroad innocent people? I mean, if you don't, it seems like sometimes they just want to put someone in jail for a crime just to appease the public or just to put another notch in their belt. So, granted, there are mistakes, and sometimes a lawyer or a prosecutor or a police officer might think someone's guilty, but they're not. But the police officers, do you mind? I'm trying to do my goddamn Mike's Instant Movie Review, and these cackling hens are having their conversation. Hold on. I mean, what's more important, their goddamn stupid, idiotic conversation or me speaking to you intelligently about this movie? I think it's us, me and you, viewer. So, let's go on. Yeah, I've been thinking about this recently. How come these people, prosecutors, even judges, I suppose, have been guilty of this? Not to say juries. I don't. Well, I guess in some cases, probably some juries have been corrupt. But if people in the legal system, I guess I'm really going after prosecutors and law enforcement. I just listened to that whole audio book. I guess I was going to do a review on that. I didn't. Waiting to be heard, the Amanda Knox case, and I really knew nothing about the Amanda Knox case. My point is, all these injustices, okay, people being illegally imprisoned. Now, this movie, Origin, I want to say cast, but the title is Origin, of the movie. It's not really about imprisoning people. It's about kind of imprisoning them in their lives through the caste system. And this lady, I guess what the catalyst is, the Trayvon Martin case, and she's basically asserting that this is not necessarily a racism case. As she says, her character in the movie, a Latino man kills a African-American male teenager in a mostly white neighborhood, upper affluent neighborhood. Is that the same type of racism of this, that, or the other? And she's also, as she goes through, involved in a interracial marriage. She has a nice white husband, okay, represent. So we go through this whole thing where she's basically saying it's not just racism. Racism is too simple a term, or it's a term that doesn't apply to everything. It's more of a caste thing. Now she's sharing this with her family at barbecues and other people. She's trying to explain what she's saying, and she's saying that if you look at countries, she uses India as a great example, and this is very informative to me, folks, because I really did not know much about India. I have some friends of Indian nature. I enjoy Indian restaurants quite a bit. If you know me, I do. I'm a big naan fan, by the way. So I love a good Indian buffet. And the people, I mean, this sounds fucking discriminatory, but I mean, when I go to the Indian restaurants, they're always so jovial and nice to see me, and it's always a nice conversation. But the point is, I did not know that India still has this caste system in effect. And is it the Dalit caste is like the lowest of the low class, and these people, these poor, to this day, according to this movie, and the information was just from 2020, 4 years ago, the Dalit people are still forced to clean sewers with their bare bodies. And so it's like, wait a minute. Apparently they're not given a choice in this matter. They're not given the opportunity. I mean, I don't want to put words in the Dalit people's mouth, but it seems like they don't have any choice but to do these horrible jobs, even to the point of risking their own health. And it's just accepted, and everyone else is going about their business carefree and happy doodle. And these people, through no choice or no action of their own, are forced into these hazardous, really disgusting jobs, if you think about it. And here in the United States of America, by the way, for instance, plumbing, you'd often hire a plumber to fix your toilet system, and it might be not much fun to get down and dirty and that type of thing. However, plumbers are very well paid for their services. Over there, I'm not making a direct comparison to plumbing, but these guys are literally swimming in shit, human excrement, and I'm not sure if they're getting paid or not, but it's like, what's going on over here, folks? So at least in the good old USA, we don't have that system. Now, if any, I do have noticed that some Indian friends have checked in with my channel from time to time. And if you find Indian folks would like to leave a comment and explain further this situation, which is news to me. I mean, I thought I was a guy that knew stuff, but I didn't know about this. Then she goes into this whole parallel of Nazi Germany. And there's this famous photograph that I've seen. I've even cited this photograph in conversation or in Facebook land. There's a picture of a bunch of Nazis doing the Hail Hitler salute. The extended hand with the tightened fingers and the extended fingers. I won't do it, okay? But you know what I'm saying, the Hail Hitler sign. And everybody's doing this thing except for one guy has got his arms crossed. Now, they basically reenact that photograph, and she goes and she's speaking in a lecture before she even takes on the story of writing about Trevor Martin. But she's talking about that story and the bravery of the one guy who did not raise his hand to salute Hitler. And then she goes into his backstory that apparently that gentleman, if the person that historians think is the guy behind that famous photo, if it's the same guy, had a Jewish girlfriend. He was actually in the Nazi party. I believe his name was, I want to say Arthur or something like that. And he had a girlfriend, Arthur Lewinstein. He had a girlfriend who was Jewish, quite saucy, I might add, the actress, meaning kind of voluptuous and attractive. And he was not too happy that his love was now forbidden. And now marriage and mixing cast members in marriage, like having marriages of different people in different caste systems, later becomes one of the author Isabel's tenets, pillars of the caste systems, and she's writing this whole thing out. It's an interesting movie because, being a writer, and I've written some books, as you know, Fight or Play Basketball, my wonderful young adult sports novel, good for anyone. Boxing, basketball, single mom, romance, all types of thing in Fight or Play Basketball, Slovenian guys. A Distance from Avalon, my gothic horror novel. As a writer, I thought that I went on adventures in my mind, writing stories and so forth. But I can't say that I've ever had to do research like this lady did, and God, did you hear that? Travel to fucking all over the world, India and all these places, Germany. So a tip of the fucking mic cap to this author in real life, Isabel. And it is, it's one of those things where you see a movie like this, you get kind of teary-eyed, not for just one thing, but for everything. Like the whole ship is about to sink. All of humanity sucks. We're all assholes. We all treat each other poorly. And you feel kind of bad about things, On top of all that, a spoiler, the lady in her real life is going through some traumas and tragedies. Her wonderful husband, who she really thinks the world of, and who her mother even likes her husband, he dies about, a third of the way through the movie. And, she really puts over her hubby as like this champion of everything, and he's a very understanding, evolved, dude, and now he's deceased. And then her mom dies, and then her fucking cousin dies. So everyone in this woman's life is dying left and right while she's trying to write this book. The one element that I thought was interesting, now I could be wrong, now the book was released in 2020, like during, I guess, October, November, when Biden and Trump were going at it. So I guess she was probably done writing the book right as COVID was kicking in, right? So I was going to say that the events in the movie are probably right before COVID, like basically 2016 to 2019 in real time. So we don't get into COVID stuff, and now, I can remember 2 years ago seeing a movie that had the COVID situation. So, in any event, a movie was also filmed in Georgia. Makes me a little upset that I was not involved because I'm fairly close to Georgia. Where are all these Georgia casting directors? Why aren't they hiring me? Nice little cameo from the guy. He had a beard in this thing. He was playing a fucking electrician or a plumber. The guy from Community. The Ken Oberman was in this for a minute, wearing a MAGA hat. Kind of an interesting little scene. All types of things. That scene was interesting because basically she's just lost her husband. The fucking basement is full of water. She sees this guy with a MAGA hat, and you can kind of read her mind. That's the sight of a good scene with a good actor or actress, good writing, good direction. When as an audience member, you can kind of read the emotions of the scene without needing the dialogue. And that's one thing, when I write screenplays, I often spell out the fucking characters, what they're thinking, because I don't really trust these idiots who might be reading my screenplay to understand what I'm trying to deliver. So some people have accused my dialogue of being a little too expository. Well, that's because I don't trust the fucking actors or the goddamn any director but myself to understand the point. So that's why I write in my way that I do. I don't trust you assholes. But the scene, basically, she's trying to see, he's wearing a MAGA hat. She's not too happy about it, you can tell, but she's trying to make some type of connection with this fellow. And he's kind of stonewalling her until the point of she raises the thing about she's basically saying, my mom is just dead or something. Is your mom still alive? No, my mom died at age 52. And then she's like, oh, what about your father? He's still alive, but he's a mean asshole. And it's just kind of an interesting scene where you see, like, and I don't know if the writer or the director was trying to make a point that MAGA people all have daddy issues because their dads are all fucked up, so now they see Trump as their new father figure, or if they were just trying to make a nice little human connection. You be the judge. You see the movie. So this movie is very dense and very thick. Is this going to be a big block? Like, is this going to make a lot of money? Will assholes go see this one as opposed to Aquaman 2? I don't know. I didn't see Aquaman 2. I really, no offense, but Jason Momoa doesn't do it for me. No offense. But this thing, I saw it not by choice, but because this was the secret mystery movie. I'm glad I saw it. There was clapping at the end of the film. It is a movie that's going to make you think. It's one of those movies that 10 or 15 years from now, you could probably see, like, a liberal high school fucking history teacher popping this in, or streaming it for the fucking high school class. Like, this is a movie to start a conversation, type of thing. Also, I mean, I think it's hard to, people always say, well, the book was better than the movie. Well, this movie is kind of like about the themes of the book, but like the process of making the book. If you ever saw the movie adaptation, which was strictly fictional as far as I know, there was that. But this, it's interesting, okay? Because we feel like we're in the process with this lady. There are a lot of conversational scenes where basically the point of the matter is just, some people sitting around a fucking dining room table having a glass of red wine, and then some traumatic experience gets raised. But typically they use flashbacks to illustrate these scenes, at least. So we're not just looking at talking heads and drinking of wine. And for the things like India, I think it was actually footage filmed in India. By the way, not that you asked, but like going to India is not a priority for me. And it's not because I have anything against the country. In fact, the Indian people, that, like I stated, I like their food. The people are very nice. However, it looks very fucking crowded. And I just don't like crowds. I don't like people up in my shizit. You understand? So it's just like, I just don't like, God, fuck. I don't like being elbow to elbow with people. And there's a couple of scenes in this movie where they're walking around India, like the market and this and that. And it's just so goddamn crowded. And like just across the street, it's like you're playing Frogger with 3 games of Frogger going on at once. And it's very, causes me anxiety just to see it in a movie, to be quite frank. I just don't think I would enjoy being in the country, or Tokyo. Oh, Tokyo, it's so awesome. Well, it looks like a lot of fucking people there, okay? I need my space. I need to stretch out. So if you want your country to host me, make sure you get a lot of fucking free range, because I'm a big person. I take up a big spot in this world, and I can't be cloistered with all these assholes. No offense. Assholes of any denomination. I need my free range. Overall, folks, I give this, I guess I want to give it like a 4.5 fucking star. I mean, it's one, this is the thing with a movie like this. What are you going to do about it? Now that we know all the issues, okay, Mike Messier now knows the horrible situation that Datil people are in India. What the fuck can I do about it? Probably not a goddamn thing, except do this review, make you aware of this movie, make you aware of this horrible situation, and let you figure it out, because I've got too much on my plate already. But there's been other movies like that before. There's been Do the Right Thing, 1989. Okay, racism. Now what do you fucking do? It's 30 years later, and we still have the same problems. So that's, to me, an element of frustration, not with the movie, but just with life. We know all these things. We know all these god-awful things, and yet they continue, and yet the beat goes on. So that's it, folks. It's your buddy Mike Messier. Go see this movie Origin or read the book Cast.